Hi, I'm Ray, and this is Nerve Check. We're here with TJ and Warren to discuss the Kings of War scene in Eastern Ontario and Western Quebec. So basically, the Ottawa, Montreal, extending all the way to Quebec corridor, and people playing Kings of War there, starting a scene, and a recent hangout that TJ hosted just outside of Ottawa, and future plans going ahead. So with that introduction, TJ Warren, if you'd like to just say hello and introduce yourself to tens of people who listen to us.
How's it going? I'm TJ. I'm sure a lot of people on here already know who I am because they've crushed me at many tournaments around. And yeah, we had a meetup here the other day. Warren?
Yep. Yeah, I'm Warren. I've been down to Hamilton March of Death twice. So if you know my face, that's where it's from in all likelihood.
So what armies are you guys currently playing, if I could ask?
So I have been working on for the longest time a Napoleonic themed army, which I absolutely love. And it's hobbits. So with the I think it was the latest update where they got that aura of Strider. I think just really puts them into that top tier kind of Alpha Strike list, I guess. Although my list isn't really all that Alpha Strike. And I've been working on that army, and I think they look beautiful. It's the love of a mother.
And Warren, do you play which army are you playing right now?
So I used to be playing ogres, and I got my dark elves from the old GW line finally painted, and they don't fit the modern Twilight kin anymore because I like cavalry. So it doesn't work anymore. So I moved them all over to Sylvankin.
Ooh.
Yeah, they've had a bit of a rough ride trying to find a home for them in the rule set. But anyways, they're there now and having a great time with them.
So this hangout that you hosted, TJ Tim, was on the 20th of July.
Yep. We had 3 players for a round. So one player came down from Quebec City, which we really appreciate. That was Christian. And then we had 2 other players from Montreal who had actually never connected before. So it was a really good opportunity to these guys, after they started talking, they realized they're about 15 minutes away from each other. So it was a great event to have to make those connections. And Warren and I actually met up the weekend before. I do recommend to anybody trying to organize a meetup like this using a poll, like an online poll, to try and figure out what the best date was. That worked out really well.
Yeah, that was really. Yeah.
We got a lot of players there. But it's a growing scene, and there's more Kings of War players out there than you realize. It's amazing just how they need to connect. I think Sorry, go ahead.
You're running about 3 tables all day on the Saturday, or?
We just ran 2 tables, and we had 2 tables, 2 games, and it went really well. Everyone is for a community who haven't been playing together. It was some very tough competition. Everybody's been using UB, it seems. Everyone uses Universal Battle. So I was thinking, I'd have a leg up because I've been to all of these tournaments in person. And no, they showed up and did really, really well. So, them's the breaks, I guess.
So this is practice, or is anyone who showed up going to either King Beyond the Wall in, I think, 3 weeks' time, or Crossroads looking ahead?
Yes. So Christian, who was up from Quebec City, he's actually meeting up with another player who wasn't able to come on that day. So we had a lot of, despite having players come in, there was actually still a lot of players who couldn't make it. But he's meeting up with another player in Montreal, and they're driving down to King Beyond the Wall. And myself, I'm going to Crossroads. So I'm very pumped.
Well, that sounds like great news. Warren, do you have any plans in the future as to what where tournaments you want to go to or things you want to do?
Well, I'm going to keep trying to push Tim to make another meetup soon. And one of my friends, I was talking to him just last night, and he said that he wanted to get a game in. So, yeah, but tournaments, no, not yet.
Oh, well,
that'll be a little bit more on the air.
And you know, the meetups where you can bring a friend and show them the ropes, show them who you would be playing with, who you're spending the day with, where it's no pressure, low pressure is always a great way to start. So Tim, thanks a lot for running it. Before we jumped on and began recording, we were talking about the possibility of holding a one-day sometime in November. Is that a goal that you have on the horizon?
Yeah, absolutely. It was a really good meetup because we all made those connections, and I didn't really think that there was, but before the meetup day, I didn't think that there was much desire to have a tournament style event happening, but everybody hung around at the end, and we started talking about tournaments, and everyone's very keen. So that's the goal, is to try and run a one day in November, and hopefully that's a stepping stone to running something bigger in this area in the future.
That sounds amazing. So one day in 2024 and future expansion in 2025 and onward.
That's the hope. Yep. Hopefully we can draw some Southern Ontarians and some of those Americans from Albany up here to have a go.
So when you find the date and get the venue sorted out, please let us know, and we'd love to have you on so you can talk about what your plans are, how many points, just all the admin information that anyone who wants to attend would need to know, and we can post that out there.
That would be excellent, and hopefully I'll have it together as well to announce at Crossroads. That's always a good point of heading to that event, because you seem to be able to hit the entire community in one fell swoop.
Well, I think there's currently 21 teams, so that's 84 players.
Yep.
Get to talk to. So
yeah. But it's also about making a local meetup to build local people, just to get more people happening in this end of the world. Yeah,
absolutely, and that was kind of one of the debates with that Corey Reynolds, who runs Crossroads, and I had was, we see a one-day tournament is the tournament that if I was going to, I could bring a gray army. I could bring an army that I've not used before, because I'm not there to qualify for Masters. I'm there to have fun, to meet people, to be guaranteed 3 games that we may or may not finish, depending upon how much time we have, and to be able to have a drink without sounding alcoholic with people, to be like, hey, where you're from? Oh, I don't live that far away from you.
And making that connection so you get extra games in and you get some more people into the scene. Yeah.
Because I ran the one day in the week before on July 13th, and Brian King lives not 15 minutes away from me, because I live in the boonies, but about 35 minutes away from me. And, it was just making the connection as to where everyone is in relation, and being able to meet everyone in a social atmosphere. So I think that's part of the reason why I think going meetups and then a one day and then looking to a 2-day lets you ensure that everyone has that social atmosphere when you meet. But the choice is yours. And Tim, whenever you decide to run something, I will see if I can get up there to come say hello. But I'll need a place to stay for at least one of the nights.
Oh, absolutely. I'm actually sitting in like the least renovated room of mine.
I just need a piece of floor because I can bring the mattress and the sleeping bag, but I just need something.
There's a whole bed.
Ooh.
I do have a whole room renovated that someone can sleep in. Christian was here the other day, so that was good actually, because Quebec City is still quite far away. It's he made the trip 4 hours down just for the meetup, which was very dedicated of him. He came down on the Friday and stayed with me, and I hope I was a good host. And he said he'd be back, so it seems okay. But yeah, that is the really good thing about this particular part of Ontario for when we do get to those sort of 2-day sort of tournaments, is there is good, cheap, clean accommodation around here, like way cheaper than you ever see in, when you're trying to go to a tournament in South Ontario or anything like that. And the venues are very cheap here as well. So there's like 5 different municipal venues within walking distance, with over half of them having licensed bars. So, the options for a 2-day are really good for people who are traveling. So I think there's a good good assets in the region that can really be used to attract like a bigger crowd.
Yeah, and it's only an hour outside of Ottawa and Montreal. And when we were down with Nathan, I believe, last time we were at March of Death, we were doing a 45-minute drive, I think. So to get there and back. So, doing an extra 15 minutes isn't an impossibility. So it should be a nice spot.
There is also a train station in Alexandria. Yeah.
I have not seen somebody take the train to go to Kings of War tournaments, but you know what? There's always a first.
100%.
Every time a tournament comes up in Hamilton, I look at the train and I pine after it, wishing that I could take it.
So
it's not a drive, yeah.
So is there anything else you want to share about how the scene's coming along? Any facts or army list thoughts that you guys want to talk about? Who won who went undefeated on the one day?
So Alex went undefeated. I gotta say, I had him very close on the on our first match. I versed Alex on the first match, and then he went up against Patrick on the second one. He took Empire of Dust, and he played very well. He's very good with his surge, really understands how to use it, and he normally plays with Paul, who is a player who couldn't make it, but they play on UB all the time, so he's very good.
And that is an army that we do not see a lot in the Northeast.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I can understand where that would take people by surprise.
It certainly got me by surprise. I was, I thought I had full control of the board with my Strider auras and my cavalry running around, and then suddenly I really started to add up the numbers from his surge with the monolith and everything. And I was like, actually, I'm in the danger zone here. This is yeah.
And Warren, how did you do that day?
Oh, I didn't make it that day. That was too close to one of the birthdays of my children.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, I did not get the permission to do it.
So you understand the need for early advertisement, so you can get the permission, so you can get all the points in line to show up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Warren has been to meetups before, though.
Absolutely.
I should mention this isn't the first one, but this does seem to be the one where everyone's kind of come together with purpose. That it really feels like a club forming up here.
You may have it is not out yet. Actually, I was like, I just spoke with Alex about King Beyond the Wall, and I realized I haven't posted it. So you might hear it here first right now. There will be a club trophy for the Northeast. It is starting at King Beyond the Wall, and it will be moving forward beyond that. So I look forward to the naming of the Eastern Ontario and Western Quebec group, or Quebec group, and what you guys decide to call yourselves as you compete with all those damn Southern Ontarians and their various groups that are forming down there. So there will be a club trophy, and I look forward to seeing your names on it.
I think Warren, we already have a name.
Yeah.
Warren came up with it, and everyone loves it. Warren,
they did enjoy it. Okay, it's the champignon. Wordplay on champion in French. And for those no, it means mushroom.
Are you going to get a T-shirt with mushrooms on it?
Yeah, that's the idea.
So sometime in the future, and either late 2024, 2025, when Southern Ontario and people are coming up to your tournaments, we'll see Les Champions. Did I pronounce that right?
Oui.
Being represented at the tables and as a club. So that'd be great. I look forward to seeing what design you guys come up with for the mushrooms.
Absolutely.
Well, so you've heard it here. There will be a club trophy coming out for the Northeast. We are indeed copying the Mid-Atlantic. Like I won't try to deny that fact. But it will be the top club at each of the events, and we'll see how it goes. So, well, thanks a lot, Tim Warren, for your time this evening. Any final words before we close out?
Thank you for having us on.
Thank you very much.